So in the 10th place spot, we have Dallas McCarver. I believe Dallas is one of the most underrated bodybuilders of 2016. He did really well in the Olympia last year. It was his first Olympia showing. He looked really good. If you looked at his Instagram lately, he's brought his legs up tremendously, and he looks like he's packed on about 20 or 30 pounds of muscle in the off season. So I think he's going to place 10th. I think he's going to do really well at this year's Olympia, one of the youngest guys to be in that top 10. Number 9, a lot of people are going to be upset about this one, Kevin Levrone. They're already putting Kevin Levrone on the poster versus Phil Heath. I don't think it's going to be him and Phil Heath for the number 1 spot. I don't have Kevin Levrone in 2nd, 3rd, or even in the top 6. Yes, in his prime, Kevin Levrone had an amazing physique. I'm a huge Kevin Levrone fan, but I don't think he's going to look like he looked in his prime. So here are some photos of Kevin Levrone now, 2016. I see him finishing in 9th, just sheerly because he's Kevin Levrone, and he probably deserves a top 10 placing just for being Kevin Levrone and just for being able to make that comeback. But I don't see him in that 1 or 2 spot. Number 8 is hopefully Justin Compton. This is really dependent on how well he can bring his conditioning. At the Arnold Classic 2015 or 2016, his conditioning was a little bit off. His color was off. He didn't look that good, and a lot of people expected him to look a lot better. So if he can dial in his conditioning, I see him in that top 10 and in that 8th place spot at the 2016 Mr. Olympia. Number 7, Dennis Wolf. I'm upset about putting Dennis Wolf in 7th, but I think this is the year that Dennis Wolf slips. He's recovering from an injury. He had a pretty invasive surgery. He was out of the gym for an extended period of time. I think this probably ruined his prep. And honestly, this year the lineup is just a lot more stacked, and a lot of the guys that Dennis Wolf is up against, I think they're moving up in placings. And this is going to put Dennis Wolf back in the 7th place spot, especially because he's recovering from that surgery. Number 6, we have Big Ramy. A lot of people are going to be upset about this placing as well, because a lot of people want Big Ramy to win. But the problem with Big Ramy is that he never comes in absolutely shredded at the Olympia. He has a problem with holding water. If we look at his off-season pictures, he got up to 350 pounds, which is absolutely impressive. He's huge, he's massive, he's a monster. But the problem with him is he can't come in shredded and he holds too much water, so he doesn't need to be getting super big in the off-season. And because he did get so big, I don't see him in that top 3 spot, so I have him in 6th. Number 5, we have Roelly Winklaar. Roelly Winklaar really stepped his game up this year, so I see him moving up to that 5th place spot. I believe he had 6th or 7th last year, so I see him moving up a spot or 2. His most muscular, absolutely insane. He got his stomach under control. He's just looking great this year, so if he can bring that conditioning and he can bring that peeled, shredded look without that big stomach to the Olympia stage in 2016, he's going to do very well, and I see him in that 5th place spot. 4th, I have Cedric McMillan, just because he looks so damn impressive at the Arnold Classic this year. He almost beat Kai Green, in my opinion. We're going to get to Kai Green in a minute because he's not competing in the 2016 Mr. Olympia as far as I know. But Cedric is one of the most aesthetic bodybuilders from this era, and I see him placing very well in that 4th place spot. The judges have shown that they like his physique and they're placing him high. So Cedric McMillan, 4th place spot. In 3rd place, we have Dexter Jackson. So Dexter got 2nd last year. I see him slipping this year. I think this year is Shawn Rhoden's year to really push Phil Heath. In years past, Shawn Rhoden has pushed Phil Heath really hard, and he's got 1st place votes against Phil, something that Kai Green was never able to do. So I see Dexter just slipping in placings 1 place this year, and Shawn Rhoden moving up. So like I said, that brings us to number 2. I have Shawn Rhoden. Shawn Rhoden has the aesthetics of a 90s bodybuilder. He has the waist of a 90s bodybuilder, but he has the size and the legs and the back of a current bodybuilder. His back and his legs are much more impressive than a lot of the guys that you've seen in the 90s. And I see him really, really pushing Phil Heath this year, especially if Phil Heath lets his waist go, because Shawn Rhoden's waist is just absolutely bringing out the weakness in Phil Heath. So Shawn Rhoden in 2nd place. Number 1, we have Phil Heath. Now, a lot of people are going to say I'm a Phil Heath dick rider or fanboy, whatever, and I'm not. I'm not even a fan of Phil Heath, but when Phil Heath is on, nobody can deny that Phil Heath is the winner. When Phil Heath is 100% on, you just can't deny that Phil Heath comes out on top. I mean, everything about Phil Heath, he's the perfect, complete bodybuilder from a purely judging standpoint and today's criteria. Phil Heath is just complete. His genetics are superior, and his roundness and fullness and his muscle bellies are just so dominant when he's absolutely on. So Phil Heath, number one. Those are my predictions. Nick Strength and Power, signing out.